Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mundane Matt. And one of the biggest pet peeves that many gamers have is microtransactions. They are designed to bilk more money from you for like mostly cosmetic items. And if it's left at cosmetic items, I generally have no problem. But what I find to be super interesting, though, is that people have found a way to essentially kind of market off of that and turn it into a cottage industry, right? We saw this last year with the exposure of CSGO Lotto and T Martin and Pro Syndicate, and how that industry, not just those guys, but other websites as well, had ballooned to $2.3 billion a year. I mean, that's how popular it was. And now we're seeing something similar, not exactly the same thing, but something similar with FIFA 17. Right? You had Craig Douglas, who's a YouTuber known as Nepenthez, and his business partner Dylan Rigby were arrested and charged and have pled guilty to essentially operating an online gambling racket all about fucking FIFA 17 and virtual currency. Now, I've been trying to figure out to an extent how they did this. All right, because all the articles I read said what happens is this: you, the player, get FIFA 17, and if you want to upgrade your character and upgrade everything else, you have to get virtual currency. You do this by completing challenges and playing through the story mode and everything else, and you use this essentially in order to unlock and purchase new key players for your team. Now, the thing that's different between CSGO Lotto and FIFA 17 is that the keys from CSGO Lotto you could actually purchase with real life money. The virtual currency inside of FIFA 17 could not. It was only earned in game, which I think they were trying to do to lock down something like the CSGO Lotto thing to happen, but no, it didn't work that way at all. Essentially what happened is this. So these guys ran a site called Foot Galaxy, and what you could do is log into that website using your FIFA account, transfer your virtual currency to that website to get basically kind of like casino chips, and then bet on actual sporting events, actual soccer or football games. Or you could do, like slot machines essentially to try to win more money. And then what that would do then is you'd win virtual currency from them, and then that would go back to your account. Or you could go to a black market site and sell that currency for real life money and make some cash. And that's pretty much what these guys were doing. They were operating a third-party gambling site where anyone could come in, link in their account, transfer the coins around, and then, bet it on things that aren't FIFA related, or, well, aren't at least FIFA game related. Now, I've been trying to figure out how this was allowed to happen. All right, because to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, how could you transfer coins from one account to the other? Actually, the game lets you do it. So that's either something that EA completely overlooked, which I'm pretty sure after this particular scandal that they are going to shut that down for any future iterations, or they've probably already repatched it, or they're going to repatch it out of the FIFA 17. And because that's crazy. Like, people there, I read a Reddit thread, and someone was saying like, oh, is it okay for me to transfer accounts for coins from one account to the other? And apparently in the terms of service, it says you can't, but it's very vague on the wording. People were interpreting that to be, oh, that means like botting or cheating or things like that. But other people were saying that they do it constantly and that there was never a problem. And they probably were saying that because they were doing something like Foot Galaxy and using that as a way to just kind of bet on real sporting events and gamble through slot machines and hopefully try to turn a quick buck. Now, part of me finds it very intriguing that this happened. Like, I'm not necessarily against that this happened. I wasn't even really against the CSGO Lotto thing. I mean, they should have had age restrictions and not let kids obviously come in. But I also feel that like Valve was very much complicit in that industry ballooning to the way that it did, because that they knew about it. The same thing here. I feel like EA knew about this and they just were going to let it happen until somebody got caught, right? Because all it does to them in the long run is actually gives them money. Because what happens is they go, oh, you can, people are going to find out that you can make money, real world money on FIFA 17. So they go and they buy the game. Or they go and they download the mobile app, or they go and they play other places. So they're able to then get more people to download, which will then translate to more sales for EA and more money in the future. Now, granted, they cannot come out and say that this is what's happening, and they can't come out and condone what Foot Galaxy was doing, but that they're aware of this kind of shit. All right, but Then again, this isn't the first time something like this has happened. Back in 2015, there were some hackers that were able to get their hands on an Xbox development kit and use that to kind of reverse engineer access into the one of the servers, I think for FIFA, and then basically tricked EA into thinking that these are different consoles collecting coins, and they use it as a way to then sell those on the black market, making $18 million. And when they got busted, they like the cops came in and they took like cars and they seized a house and a whole bunch of money and assets. So there is a financial benefit for hackers and people like Craig Douglas and Dylan Rigby to kind of play up this particular thing. And what's really funny though is that Craig Douglas has come out and he said, like, you know, I'm going to tell the judgments come out, the judgment's done. I'm going to release my statement here, my side of the story. I've pled guilty to these charges, and there's going to be that. Now, he hasn't released his side of the story just yet, so we don't know what that is. But I really want to know, like, I want to see it because I want to know how he's going to defend what happened, right? Like, this can't be a moment of I tripped, fell, landed on his dick sort of thing, because you were literally running a website that promoted illegal gambling, right? And I'm not against gambling. I'm not. I fucking totally feel a fool and their money are soon parted. If you want to gamble, gamble. We should fucking allow more people to operate casinos and shit. But this is what's happening here is that because this is an unprecedented thing, the UK's gambling commission cracked down on them pretty hard because they haven't seen anything like this before, which just means that this is probably happening. And the reason why these guys were busted is because they were promoting it on their YouTube channel, right? Oftentimes these sites tend to operate through word of mouth. They don't advertise anywhere. But these fucking idiots were out there on their YouTube channel like, come on over to Foot Galaxy, go ahead and get your virtual currency on, win yourself some money, get yourself a prize and transfer it back into the game to get yourself that dang old key player to fight back on against your favorite team. You know what I mean? Like things like that. Like that's what I take from that. It's amazing to me that we are living in a time where people are able to essentially trick these big publishers, like use their systems against them. And it's very like awe-inspiring because it's opening up this entire new marketplace that I have a feeling in the next couple of years, EA and other places are going to find ways to utilize this in a very, you know, kind of like up and up sort of, you know, or like a very legally based situation. So make sure everything's on the up and up. So then they can get away with making a lot more fucking money than they would just off of microtransactions in a game. All right, guys, that wraps up this video. Go ahead and leave your thoughts below. I really want to know your comments on this one. Also, if you guys haven't already, thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, check back daily for new content from me. If you want to support the channel, links below in the video description, Patreon, PayPal, Amazon affiliate really does help me keep this thing chugging along on a daily basis. Anyway, my name is Mundane Matt. I'll talk to you all later. Have yourself a great day. Peace out.